You probably have your home listed for sale by now. You may have even been talking to some potential buyers. You may have even showed your house some. If you've done the things I talked about in the first 3 series of videos, you have taken great pictures, used great video, wrote out the description very well to tell people what's special about your home. You filled out all the details completely, and you used all the different websites you can use to tell people your home is for sale. In this session, I want to talk to you about a document you need to be filling out pretty quickly, a document required by South Carolina law called the seller's disclosure. In most instances, the seller is required to fill this document out to protect yourself legally. You want to understand this document, you want to fill it out completely and accurately to the best of your knowledge. So I'm going to walk us through that document. Also, if you live in a neighborhood that has an HOA, a homeowners association, there's another document that you have to fill out to go with it. If your house was built before 1978, there's also a document to be filled out, and that is a lead-based paint disclosure. So let's take a closer look at all 3 of these right now. Taking a closer look at the State of South Carolina Residential Property Condition Disclosure Statement. The front page gives lots of explanation as to what you're doing, and it states the owner of a residential real property shall provide to a purchaser this complete and signed disclosure statement prior to forming a real estate contract. In other words, before you have a ratified contract, meaning the buyer agrees to buy it in a certain time frame and a certain price, seller agrees to sell it for that price and that time frame, all signatures happen to the contract and it becomes ratified. This has to be filled out first. Underneath that paragraph, you see the owner should answer the questions fully, honestly, appropriately by attaching documents, checking a box for each checkbox question, and writing in the blanks on the disclosure statement. If you answer yes to any of these questions, the owner must explain or describe the issue or attach a descriptive report from an engineer, contractor, pest control operator, expert, or public agency. If the owner fails to check yes or make a disclosure and the owner knows there is a problem, the owner may be liable for making an intentional or negligent misrepresentation and may owe the purchaser actual damages, court costs, and attorney fees. If you answer no, it means that you have no knowledge of any problems. If you fill out no representation, the simple term in that, I explained to buyers, that means you don't want to tell them about that. So whenever buyers are looking at this seller's disclosure, what they like to see is you checking no, you don't have any knowledge of problems. If you check yes because there is a problem, they want to see the explanation. If you check no representation, it means I don't want to tell you about that. And most of the time, buyers get very suspicious, so that really isn't the best option of what to check. When you look on the second page of the document, you see that these questions are asking you if you have any actual knowledge of any problems concerning these issues. Problems could be defects, malfunctions, damages, conditions, or characteristics. And so you see you're being asked about water supply, water quality, water pressure, sewage, sanitary, many other things on here, including the roof, the gutter, plumbing, electrical, appliances, HVAC, heating, and cooling. Other pages are pretty clear in what they are asking you to fill out. And again, people want to see a no, or if there's a check mark, they want to have an explanation. People do not like seeing no representation on this document. Now let's take a closer look at the HOA document. Obviously, this starts off with what are the costs and how are they paid? Is it paid yearly or is it paid monthly? What is that associated charge? What's the contact information for the owners association? Underneath it, in the 11 questions, you see you're answering things like, are there common area expenses? Is there a resale or rental restriction? Is there special assessment or similar charges? Guest or visitor restrictions, animal restrictions, assigned parking spaces, lockers, garages, or carports. Are there keys or key fobs to those common areas? Any known common area problems is number 9. 11 is a transfer fee whenever you sell the property. Transfer fee levied to the transfer of the property. So this is what the disclosure statement looks like whenever you're filling it out for HOA. Now let's take a closer look at the lead-based paint document. The lead-based paint document is a short document but very important for homes built before 1978. So it starts off by acknowledging that lead-based paint can cause problems in children and lists those out. It poses a risk to pregnant women. The seller of a real residential property is required to provide the buyer with any information on lead-based paint hazards from a risk assessment or inspections in the seller's possession. Notify the buyer of any known lead-based paint hazards. So you see what you're filling out. Obviously, you're the seller, so you're going to fill out that information right there below. Well, I know today's session wasn't the most fun topic in the world, but it is an important step in the process of selling your home. I want you to understand these documents and forms. I want you to fill them out completely and accurately so you don't have problems legally at a later point in time. It's one thing to have this problem through the transaction. It's even worse if you've closed on the house and you think you're moving on with your life only to find out you have legal problems with documents that you have filled out. So keep watching these series. I'm here to help you through the process so that you can sell your home well, sell it for top dollar as for sale by owner.